Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. And I got to start with this from Alex Cobb. No better investment in the world right now than XRP at $2.92. It is still a great investment. It's still very undervalued. A lot of people would still say that the price of XRP is very suppressed right now. And once it breaks out, people will be buying at $4, $8, $12. Wait and see. You will consider yourself early if you're buying right now. Veteran trader shares XRP could reach $15 this cycle if Bitcoin doubles from here. It doesn't matter what happens with Bitcoin. I keep seeing people say this. If Bitcoin goes to 200K, then XRP could go to X amount of dollars. But XRP is already outperforming Bitcoin. It's outperforming Ethereum as well. And a lot's going on with Bitcoin. I cannot wait until we decouple from it. I don't see that happening, though, until utility starts driving the price of XRP. That will come with regulations being put in place. And Edo Farina confirmed the whale with 80,000 Bitcoin has started dumping. 16,000 Bitcoin sold via over-the-counter. 2,000 Bitcoin sent to exchanges like Bybit. They're crashing the price just like Mt. Gox. And you know, that's just one whale. Other whales are going to start dumping their Bitcoin as well. They want you to be under this assumption that nobody's ever going to sell their Bitcoin. But people are selling. You got to remember, a lot of people bought their Bitcoin at very cheap prices, and they finally want to cash in. Old Bitcoin wallets are waking up. No surprise, they do this every cycle. Sell at the top, short the market, and rotate speculative profits into real assets like gold, silver, land, and select altcoins. Take a listen to this, because now even the institutions are waking up.
So there's a couple of things that are worth hitting on Bitcoin. And again, I have a very strong view on Bitcoin that ultimately it is a true Ponzi asset, meaning the only value that it derives is from other people deciding it is worth a lot. We can talk through some of the mechanics on it. Bitcoin is super interesting because it has effectively a fixed supply. Or a largely fixed supply. The demand factor is really the only thing that drives it. If we take that same analysis, and I'll just show very quickly here, like what's driving Bitcoin prices at this point, almost all of the behavior of Bitcoin can be explained by fund flows at this point, right? So this is literally just looking at the change in Bitcoin held in ETFs relative to the change in price in Bitcoin. You can see that any 1 month change in Bitcoin price is very well explained by the change in Bitcoin held in funds. And this is pretty remarkable when you consider that there's tons of participants right now who are trying to replicate the MicroStrategy approach, or I guess it's called strategy now, the approach of we're going to build a Bitcoin treasury. So there's significant amounts of corporate buying that I'm not capturing here, by the way. And it's still, like, interestingly enough, given the accumulation, Bitcoin is underperforming what we would expect slightly. That tells me that there is net selling from whales. It's the same thing that are original holders of Bitcoin. Very similar to that idea of insider selling in corporations. Nobody cares, right? It does affect the price, but at the end of the day, nobody who is deciding to build a Bitcoin stockpile in their treasury is saying, gosh, the insiders are selling, maybe I should be thoughtful about this. No, they're just trying to capture the premium associated with it.
They're just trying to make money off of it, is what's going on. And now a lot of these asset managers, they're starting to wake up and realize that there's better places where you could make money in crypto outside of Bitcoin. And that's why even the ETFs, they're starting to lose momentum now because people are looking beyond Bitcoin now. And that's why XRP will continue to outperform it. Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Pepe, PEP, and MicroStrategy are the top trending coins this week as historic crypto discussions surge across Reddit, Telegram, and Twitter. But what pisses them off the most is that XRP is capturing a lot of the discussions that are out there now. People are starting to talk about XRP more than they're talking about Bitcoin. And that's what has a lot of these Bitcoin maxis really upset. But how could you not talk about XRP? You look at the news around it, you see all the articles how there's more and more rails still getting put in place around the world, and Ripple's now filing to become a bank. Everything positions XRP as the world's bridge currency, and they know it's coming, but they don't want to admit it yet. They're not going to admit it until it actually gets flipped. That switch, when it gets flipped and XRP is integrated and running through the entire financial system, that's when they will admit that they were wrong. Just in, XRP will make more millionaires than Bitcoin ever did. Bookmark this tweet. I totally agree with that. Because now, if you're buying XRP at $2.90 some cents, you're buying whole XRPs. You know, where Bitcoin's holders right now, most of them are not even holding one whole Bitcoin. Now imagine XRP goes to just $100. A lot of people are going to become a millionaire. Then it goes on to hit 589. I had to do it. There's going to be a lot more millionaires. When it hits $1,000, more millionaires will be made. And at the same time, most of the Bitcoin holders, they sold off years ago. And now most of the people you see holding actual Bitcoins, it's only a few big bag holders. And the rest is just noise on X. People holding 0.01 Bitcoin. That's who has the loudest mouth on XRP, on X. And XRP holders get to deal with those people. And you still cannot even convince them that 0.01 Bitcoin is not going to be enough to make real money. They just don't want to believe it. XRP has already decoupled from Bitcoin. XRP 454.78% in the past year. Bitcoin 91.22% in the past year. And this is just the beginning. I would not say that XRP is decoupling or decoupled from Bitcoin yet, but it is outperforming Bitcoin, and there's no denying it. You see it actually happening in real time. And the biggest argument people have is, well, XRP is only at $2.92. Bitcoin's at 117K. Okay, well, if you don't hold at least one whole Bitcoin, that really doesn't matter now, does it? Unless you're holding at least 10 Bitcoin, then really, who gives a shit? XRP's volatility will even out as banks and corporates adopt it as a treasury asset on their balance sheets. Now, the fact that they're even creating treasuries around XRP, that should be enough to tell you that XRP is going to do great things in the very near future. But they're creating these treasuries because they actually want to utilize it as a bridge currency. It speeds up transactions for these companies, and it also makes transactions cheaper. It actually has a use case. Scarcity is not a use case. but there will be scarcity for XRP as well. Right now, we're just at the early stages of people buying and locking away XRP. Wait until you see a lot more companies starting to do the same thing. I look at those treasuries as liquidity pools for these companies where they could utilize the token for its actual use case. And then that will lead to scarcity eventually. And demand is still rising for XRP as well. Here's how US Crypto Week could boost XRP price. Now, they did not approve these acts, but I want to point something out here. Ripple is among the companies that could immediately benefit from the passing of these 3 bills. These 3 bills are going to get passed. They just want to have certain things included in them. Then everybody will vote them in. But Ripple will be the company that will really benefit from this. Not just because of RLUSD, but at the same time, with clear regulations, Ripple could advance its Ripple payments platform, increasing adoption and demand for XRP as well. This gives clear path forward for XRP as well. XRP is going to complement RLUSD because you're going to have to move that stablecoin all around the world. What's the best asset to move that stablecoin? XRP. RLUSD was never the XRP killer. This comes from Digital G, and this makes you kind of think. So normally, when a country such as the United States, which processes $4.7 trillion in cross-border payments, adopts a new messaging system for payments, you would expect to see the token responsible for this, such as XRP, to be reflected in a higher value. But then perhaps it did via the private ledger. Everybody's still super focused on that private ledger. The price of XRP is the same price that we're buying XRP at on the private ledger. They're testing XRP right now. The banks are in the testing phase still. Now, when the banks come out of the testing phase, I think the price is going to change, not only on the private ledger, but on the public market as well. In other words, whatever price they're testing XRP at right now, that's the price XRP will be at very soon. And I cannot wait until that happens. When the banks finally break out of the testing phase on the private ledger, you better be holding XRP, because there's no way possible XRP can move all of that value at its current price point of $2.90 some cents. It has to be much, much higher. I still think early on we will see well above 3 digits. I think we will gradually see XRP climb to 4 digits very quick. Then it will go on to eventually hit 5 digits. And at 5 digits, anybody holding one whole XRP will be an absolute legend. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.